Hello ladies and gents, welcome to Reaction. This is Iran is hiding its uranium, so the US military just responded with this. Balchal, obviously Mach's afterburner. This slightly old video, few days old, but this is the update on what happened with uranium. There is another element I want to say right now, which just I found out, which is kind of weird. Hear this.
It's May 30th, 2026. Hope you're doing great wherever you're watching from. We've got breaking news with the 440 kilograms of near weapons-grade uranium sitting somewhere inside Iran right now. But here's the bombshell right now. The IAEA...
30 May 2026, right? All right. No, wait a minute, not this one. Where did it go? Oh, there you go.
It's May 30th, 2026. Hope you're doing great wherever you're watching from. 440 kilograms of near weapons-grade uranium sitting somewhere inside Iran right now, and the world is arguing over what to do about it. But here is the bombshell. The IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency,
May 31st. Even YouTube is telling me, let me move it, that it's AI. This guy doesn't feel real because it's AI. You don't even try? You literally gonna copy Mach's afterburner. This video has a 300,000 views, by the way. 257, essentially 300,000 views. How much Mach's have? Let's check it. 300,000. It's a literal copy of Mach's video. I didn't watch the whole video. I'd start enough, like, it's word by word. If you're gonna use AI, you're not even gonna tell AI to change words here and there, change scripting a bit. AI can't do that. You're not even going to try that. No, let's say, by the way, look at the title. Iran's mullah thought the uranium was safe until the US military unleashed this. Now, that's not the title of this video, but there was one uranium video before this that Mach's Afterburner had the same title. This is Mach's Afterburner type of title, is what I'm saying. You understand AI exists, but every time I've seen AI copies of things, it's been slightly different. Same point, slightly different. You can't really go after that because if it's the same news, people can have different take of the same topic. And even though it feels blatant because like even the points are structured same way, but at least it's slightly different. This is word by word. YouTube literally recommended me this. I didn't find for it. And I'm like, what is this? And as soon as I saw the title, I'm like, wait a minute. And as soon as I heard the intro, I tried to find a Mach's Afterburner video. And it's the one that I didn't react to. It's the update on uranium. All right, I guess let's watch one.
International Atomic Energy Agency, you're welcome for the acronym, knows that they're hiding this uranium. CENTCOM knows it as well, and the US military seems to be gearing up for a massive response. And here's another bombshell on top of the bombshell. It's like a Russian doll of bombshells at this point. Kazakhstan volunteered to take the enriched uranium off of everyone's hands. Hey guys, we've got an extra storage closet. What a good roommate, Kazakhstan. Yeah, they're like, just put it in our closet. We'll take care of it. We'll make sure none of the other roommates touch it. But then Iran's Supreme Leader Khamenei, supposedly, whether it's him or someone in his circle that's actually controlling his phone. It's like when a friend gets a hold of your phone and starts texting all your friends some wild things and everyone's like, hey man, are you okay? And you're like, no, my friend did it. And they're like, sure, yeah, it was your friend. But then the US administration...
I like how you pronounce Mojab comment because I can't even do that. You would think I should have better pronunciation of the name than Max, and yet I can't pronounce it right. So yeah.
Administration said, we will get it. We'll probably destroy it after we get it, but we're not going to let them have it. That's a very definite statement, not just a press statement. That is a target list, basically with a countdown clock. Today, we're breaking down the Kazakhstan uranium deal that just exploded in Tehran's face, what it means for Tehran to deny that deal, the US military intelligence architecture that already knows likely where every gram of that material is. We'll talk about the systems and structures that they may be using right now, including the advanced aircraft to detect and sniff out this stuff, as well as we'll talk about Pickaxe Mountain, supposedly 280 feet or more deep, so slightly deeper than what was hit in April of 2025 during the 12-day war, where the U.S. military operated Operation Midnight Hammer, and actually went down and drilled down into the vent shafts of that uranium storage facility where the actual uranium centrifuges were. But Pickaxe Mountain is a whole other problem that we're going to talk about. And then stay about 3/4 of the way through the video for the global roundup, because Southcom, while everyone's looking at Iran, Southcom just crushed a narco vessel. So we're going to talk about that. And then Russia.
From South America. I guess we forgot about that, but yeah, that's also happening. Cuba, Venezuela, cartels.
Decided it would be a good idea to launch drones into Romania, as Russia looks to be very frustrated at this point. So basically, Iran calls their uranium their prized possession, and then CENTCOM and the US military call it target coordinates. And here's what dropped just in the last 24 hours. With IAEA Director General Rafal Grossi, he flew to Astana, Kazakhstan this week, and he met personally with the Kazakhstan President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev. On the table was Kazakhstan's formal offer to physically host Iran's entire stockpile of uranium, enriched supposedly to 60% purity. That's what we're finding reported throughout the entire internet. 440 kilograms of near weapons grade material that could supposedly make about 11 nuclear weapons. So this isn't just a random country raising its hand. Kazakhstan produces 38.6% of the world's uranium. Yeah, you heard that right. It hosted P5+1 talks with Iran in 2013. It runs the only IAEA fuel bank on the planet. So if you need a neutral, credible custodian for the most dangerous material in the entire world, well, Kazakhstan actually sort of is that. When Iran answered this, it was pretty clear that they had some other intentions with their uranium. They first said no about 9 days ago, and now it looks like they're doubling down, saying that they will definitely not send that uranium to Kazakhstan. Supreme Leader Khamenei issued that directive internally, saying that the uranium doesn't leave Iran. 2 senior Iranian sources confirmed the language. The stockpile of enriched uranium should not leave the country. Their reasoning, and this is part that tells you basically everything you need to know here, is surrendering the material would leave Iran more vulnerable in their minds, because again, if they can keep that uranium and at least have the threat of developing that nuclear weapon, they think they've got that revolver that they can.
Vulnerable with what? That if you remove the uranium, US will bomb you? They already did. Threat of what? If you remove the uranium, they'll invade you with foot soldiers? If anything, they have more incentive to do now so they can take out the uranium. I'm genuinely trying to think here, like, if you remove the uranium, what scenarios worse than what it is already now? I mean, yeah, I think you spent 2-3 decades to make a nuclear weapon. You put all your chips into it, and that's your singular weapon, like powerful weapon. That you're trying to think, like, if we don't have this, we have no power, regional power, or anything like that, and we can do nothing about it. And that is kind of true, right? Iran's only thing right now is like, if we make nuclear weapon, everybody calms down, everybody backs off, and we still have power. But if they don't have a nuclear weapon, it's like they have nothing left. US destroyed a lot of things. They already didn't invest much in military. Like I said, Pakistan's military is stronger than Iran's one, because Iran put all their chips trying to develop a nuclear bomb.
Can hold to the head of the world. Iran trying to extort the world. Yeah, we've never seen this one before. But Iran's strategic argument for keeping weapons-grade uranium is that it protects them from an attack. So that's not the logic of a civilian nuclear program saying, oh, we need this for energy infrastructure in our country.
Those are some giant paint signs. The painter had some challenges there. Look at that.
No, this is the logic of a deterrent. And that's what nuclear weapons are actually built for, is to create deterrence, unless they're in the hands of a non-state, unpredictable type actor like the Iranian regime with their radical Islamic clerics that might actually use that weapon. And then meanwhile, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, he stood at the Shangri-La Dialogue.
I don't think Iran would use nuclear weapon if they have it. Because they know their country will blow up in multiple mushroom clouds. I think it's just a chip. Like, if they have a nuclear weapon, they can fund the proxies, they can do anything. basically to make sure that Israel never sleeps and the whole region is under their control, and the US or anybody else can't do nothing about it because they have a nuclear weapon. So you can't do anything about them. Doesn't matter what they do once they have a nuclear weapon. That's the thing they're chasing. It's not like they're going to use the nuclear weapon, right? Because anybody uses nuclear weapon, their country will blow up. Essentially, unless you use it against a country that doesn't have a nuclear weapon. Does other country risk their own life trying to defend some other country? That's their element. I don't know.
Dialogue in Singapore this morning in front of 40 nations' defense ministers, and he stated that the United States is, quote, more than capable of resuming strikes and that U.S. stockpiles are more than suited for such operations. There's all this clamor around the internet that the U.S. is running low on munitions. Well, it's running lower than it was before the conflict, obviously, but at this point, I think the stockpiles are being rebooted extremely quickly. The Tomahawk missile, though, that might take a little while to come back around to get to the full pre-war inventory, and I'm going to cover that exact subject on Pepperbox. If you want to see me cover that, pop to the link in the description and join my channel on Pepperbox. I think you'll love it because there's a lot of subjects that I cover there that aren't covered here. So if you're enjoying these military breakdowns, specifically about the military stockpile, pop to the link in the description and go over to Pepperbox for that latest breaking info on that. But President Trump did extend the ceasefire to an open-ended basis, but he kept the naval blockade fully in place until the negotiations conclude. So right now, more than ever, Iran's being completely bled dry of that money, $500 million a day being squeezed out of the mullahs, squeezed out of the IRGC. It sounds like the IRGC isn't necessarily getting paid anymore. Now, they're extorters, so they have ways to still probably make money off their own population, but that massive flow of money from their oil sales is not flowing into their bank account. So that's going to make some of those mafia boss mullahs, IRGC members a little bit nervous. They're sitting around like scratching themselves like an addict, and they're like, where's the next round of money going to come from? How do we extort people? We don't know. At the end of the day, they're put in a position where now they're forced into a corner. So do these
Somebody needs to have a detailed breakdown of what's happening inside Iran, because the effect must be like high enough with the blockade, if not with the people, which is also going to be the problem, to like people in power who relied on all this money. The money is not flowing. How are they functioning? What is the feeling inside Iran? I guess that's the thing, like you need some journalists who are allowed inside Iran to break that story, which they're not going to be allowed, so it's going to be very hard to know, but yeah.
IRGC mid-level bosses still show up? Do the underlings still show up? And speaking of addicts, Kazakhstan offered to basically babysit the uranium, and Iran is a little bit paranoid, and they're like, no, we're going to keep it locked, loaded, and right next to our bed. But now let's hear what Iran is actually saying out loud with their rhetoric, because in my opinion, their rhetoric has basically become the most entertaining thing on the internet at this point. And remember, Sun Tzu, my boy, said, know your enemy, know yourself. Mosim Rezai, the senior advisor to Supreme Leader Khamenei, former IRGC commander, and the man that's supposedly currently leading Iran's public communications strategy, basically the Iran school of communication strategy. You show up and it's like, all right, here's how you gaslight, here's how you extort, here's how you shift everything back and keep people walking on eggshells. I mean, this sounds like a bad ex training camp at this point. But he posted on X that Trump is, quote, not inclined towards negotiations and is pursuing other objectives. Yeah, you think? We're basically strangling you from $500 million a day, trying to bleed your regime dry. Yeah, I'd say that there's some other objectives here, genius. Well done. We should call this guy Sherlock Razazi. But he accused Washington of betraying diplomacy for the third time, and he's counting this as obviously very important to him to keep his fiefdom in place. And then Iran's foreign ministry chimed in and said that there's been no final understanding with the US, and there will not be until the naval blockade is lifted first. So the translation here, Iran wants the leverage removed before it gives up anything on their...
Obviously, after this, we know what happened. Everything fell apart. Everybody, both sides blew each other. That doesn't sound right. Both sides attacked each other, blew all the sides up. Iran obviously attacked Kuwait. US destroyed a lot of drone bases. So yeah, it all fell apart.
air side. But here's the structural crack in their position. They gave up their air defense architecture in March. Their missile production leadership was decapitated. Their nuclear enrichment infrastructure took 14 mass ordnance penetrators, and they're negotiating with the blockade still running. The uranium card that they have is basically the last domino along with the Strait of Hormuz. So Iran's basically playing poker, and
I want to know what is US's strategy. Like, is there any information out there? Like, did US give any comments about uranium? What is the update on that? Because the Trump quote is like the earlier first one, right? Like, yeah, we are going basically implying we're going to take the uranium. But did something happen after that?
And their hand right now is 440 kilograms of enriched uranium, but I think the B-2 bomber doesn't fold even when the stakes get really high. So what is the US military doing right now while this negotiation grinds on? And how does a targeting chain run if it actually collapsed? This is something that you guys gotta hear. So while Reza is posting on X, the US military's intelligence architecture is running a process that never stopped at any point during this whole conflict, building and updating targeting solutions. Layer 1, RC-135 Rivet Joint. The Air Force operates 22 of these, and they're most heavily utilized as signals intelligence platforms for the entire US inventory. Right now, there are 4 deployed to bases in the region. Rivet Joints are hoovering up electronic...
Why are you showing Royal Air Force? That's British one. Where is yours?
Missions across Iran's entire nuclear infrastructure, communications between enrichment sites, power grid signatures consistent with centrifuge operations, radar emissions from dispersal movements. Every time Iran moves something, the RC-135 logs it. The RC-135 is like, oh, cool, going on a little outing today, uranium? Cool, we'll just take a little note of that. And then the targeting chain updates every single time in real time. And then layer 2, the F-35. During Operation Midnight Hammer last June, F-35As were the first aircraft to penetrate Iranian airspace, suppressing air defenses with their A and APG-81 ASA radar, their distributed aperture system, and their electronic warfare suite. Not a so subtle flex at this point. Basically, the F-35 walks in any room it wants to, and it's the big swing and you know what, and everybody's jaw just drops. And they were the last aircraft to leave the battle space as well, along with Operation Epic Fury, likely the exact same thing. They go in first, they leave last. And right now, those same jets are flying persistent missions over the Strait of Hormuz, passing real-time targeting data across the joint force. The F-35 is basically the quarterback right now. It sees everything and tells everyone. So,
I think we are forgetting the Space Force element here. I watched the recent video. I don't know if I'm going to post after this, or I already posted. But there is the whole element of like the satellites, geosynchronous satellites. There are some of them, modern one, which has such a high resolution and accuracy. It has a basically pixel count in matter of few centimeters on the ground. So if you're like photographing a car, you would be able to tell which type of car, that you would be able to even read the name of that car, which bolt it has as. That kind of a resolution these satellites have. So you have geosynchronous satellites like that. You have like insane infrared, like somebody's smoking a cigarette, this infrared satellite can pick it up. So you have all that constantly like putting their eyes on Iran, because that's what geosynchronous mean. It just stays synchronized with the ground. If something is over Iran, it's going to stay there. Right? So you can constantly have eyes there, like what's moving where. Is there a heat signature? Like, you know, what's happening? Is there a string of trucks going somewhere where they're going? What does it have? Right? Those are like, I'm pretty sure those are the same satellites that detected a plane that Iran was doing everything in their power not to leave until USA blow it up. What did that, cargo plane had? Right? So I'm pretty sure US have a pretty decent idea of where the important things are.
Talked about the F-47 being the Giga Chad, but maybe the F-35 should be the Giga Chad and the F-47 should be the Giga Chad. And then layer 3, the F-22 Raptor, deployed to Israel and throughout the region. Its job is air superiority, clearing the skies so the strike package moves freely. If the F-35 is the quarterback, then the F-22 is basically the head coach, defensive coordinator, and offensive coordinator all wrapped up into one. Also, the F-22 is said to be able to have the capability to even target giant ballistic missiles. So that gives you an incredible capability that's right there in the region. And then there's the delivery vehicle of the mob.
F-35 is pretty scary, I'm not gonna lie. Because F-35 is like a weird combination of like a stealth fighter plus all-purpose plane and a bomber, I guess. Because it can be fitted with a nuclear bomb. They can drop from like bay doors, it opens, right? F-35 has that capability. So yeah, F-22 is like badass. F-47 is even better. But F-35 has this, is in very weird middle ground that gives it capability that is insane.
The B-2 bomber, don't sleep on the B-2 bomber. That's the guy she told you not to worry about multiple times, and you thought that he was just the tennis coach. Oh yeah, Chad's just the tennis coach. Meanwhile, Chad is a stealth bomber that's packing 30,000 pounds of heat. Yeah, you might want to watch out for Chad, aka B-2 bomber. But if this operation goes down to take out Iran's enriched uranium, the Kazakhstan deal doesn't work out, and Iran basically falls back on this hill, and it's the hill that they choose to die on, well, then the B-2 is likely going to be the one that goes in and finalizes the negotiation. So Iran buried its uranium under 280 feet of granite. CENTCOM filed a flight plan that went right over top of that beautiful mountain range. So you made it to the global roundup, my friends. So we're going to cover a couple hard-breaking stories that are going on around the globe right now that you need to know. So Operation Southern Spear, Southcom's operation, just got real again. On May 27th, Joint Task Force Southern Spear hit a narco-trafficking vessel in the Eastern Pacific. I can't show that actual targeting imagery here, but I can show it on Pepperbox. So pop over to Pepperbox and I'll be doing a full breakdown of that. But the strike, it hit and it was designed to now create more and more deterrence across the narco empire. There's obviously going to be some of these narcos that are just going to do it anyways because they...
Pacific? What, they went through Panama Canal? What do you mean Pacific? Like which country? Like Colombia? Okay, I thought it would be in like Atlantic or something like that's where usually it is, like near Florida from Venezuela, right? Cuba also in Pacific, like that must be something like Colombia or something, I don't know. Going through California or something, like smuggling through that, I don't know.
Don't have any other options. So in my opinion, we're not going to see this slow down anytime soon, and likely operations in Southern Spear will continuously target cartels. And the next story, Romania, a Russian drone crashed into an apartment building in Galati, Romania. A full NATO...
The hell? Why? Probably lost control. But drones are not some missile that lost control. Like drone is a drone doesn't fly that fast. If it loses control, like it's not going to make all the way to Romania. It's not like it's a ballistic missile that just changed trajectory. How did a drone made it all the way to like Romania?
member, injuring 2 people during an overnight strike that was supposedly aimed at Ukraine. Romania's foreign ministry labeled it a serious violation of international law. Zelensky is simultaneously warning that Russia is preparing a massive incoming attack. Drones, cruise missiles, ballistics within the next 24 to 48 hours.
It did, didn't it? After this, it did happen. Yeah, it did. And Ukraine fought back as well, really fiercely.
So NATO air defense networks are on heightened alert across Europe. Moscow's air war is no longer just inside of Ukraine's borders, and that shows us a massive adaptation on.
I guess that was the case even at the start. So a lot of missiles fell somewhere else, Poland, even before the start, even when the war started. But drone makes me feel weird. Like, how did drone veered off from Ukraine to Romania? It's not a missile that flew really fast and just changed trajectory. Even if it loses control, you have plenty of time to, like, I don't know, shut it off, or like it basically crashing somewhere. It just flew all the way to like in a building in Romania. That's insane.
On this conflict. And that brings us to the 40 chess strategic analysis section, my friends. So let's talk about the depths of strategy here and what's actually going on behind the scenes. These are things you absolutely have to know. So here's what Iran wants from refusing the Kazakhstan deal. And it's not necessarily about the uranium. Iran wants the uranium as a structural guarantee of survival, not necessarily a bomb quite yet, because they know if they get and build that bomb, then it's just going to be a matter of minutes before this B-2 bomber rolls in with those Mach ordnance penetrators. At least they might not want the bomb yet. They want that deterrence to be on the table as long as the 440 kilograms are in the country. Tehran believes it has the leverage in every future negotiation. That's a capability threshold the US and Israel can't afford to ignore. The moment it leaves, Iran thinks that it loses the one thing that makes it relevant in a post-war settlement. They're hiding it because it's the only card that they think will force Washington to keep talking. So here's what the US isn't saying out loud though. The 60-day extension Trump announced today.
It's not about thinking, it is true. Uranium is the only reason why US even talking about peace deal or anything like that. If Iran loses uranium, then America doesn't care after that. Like, what peace deal? For what? So they are kind of right there. And if it goes to some other country, like, you can't really guarantee anything. US might go there and just snatch it away. Yeah.
Preserves options on both ends. The blockade stays, the strike package stays postured, the B-2 is still ready to go, and now the pressure to get Iran to the negotiating table to something that actually matters is on full steam ahead. What do you think happens here in the next few days? Do you think...
Yeah, it all fell apart is what happened after this. I mean, I've been saying that. I genuinely don't see it. I'm not some great military strategist. Like, I don't know anything. But common sense works 99% of the time. That's why it's common sense. And I knew, like, these talks are going nowhere. Because US's position is simple. Give me uranium and stop choking Strait of Hormuz. That is the only thing Iran can't do. So what talk? Iran's not going to give up their uranium, because what was it all for? And Iran, if gives up like a Strait of Hormuz control, again, what did Iran get? So USA came, blew you up, blew everything up, right? I keep saying blew you up, blew everything up, right? And just got everything and walked away. How do you tell anything to your people? Like, there is no saving face. That's what I'm saying, right? The Sun Tzu quote: "Give your enemy a chance to save face." Otherwise, there can't be no deal. If your enemy can't save face, why would your enemy not fight to the death? Basically. That's what Sun Tzu meant. Like, give them ability to save face, so there can be a deal made. What the USA wants, needs, Iran cannot give. That's what I mean. Like, there's not going to be any deal, man. That doesn't work. It's just after. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's just after. Other countries like Kuwait are getting like called civilian airport. Are you kidding me, man? Other people died. That's insane. What is the line that's going to be crossed next? They're just going to bomb us. Civilian housings or something. That's just insane. Right, well, there you go. If you like my channel, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.